Hi.
Hi.
So I'm just going to ask you a couple of questions about your experiences in foster care.
Okay.
So your name is Robert.
Yep.
How old are you?
23.
Do you remember how old you were when you first entered foster care?
I think I was about 6 or 7.
6 or 7 years old. Do you remember some of the reasons why you had to go into foster care?
My mother's alcohol and drug abuse. Not really 100% sure about what happened with my father. My grandparents were involved. They had a drug addiction. That's all I can really remember.
Do you remember what that transition to that first foster home was like? Do you remember if it went smoothly, if it was difficult, if you felt scared?
Well, my first transition was taken from my mom's parents and went with my dad's mother. And that first transition, I'd never actually met her before, so that was scary. I didn't eat for a couple of days, didn't talk for a couple of days. Took a while to get used to her rules and living under her house.
Do you have siblings?
Yes. I have one blood brother, Rashad. My mom has 4 other children, and my dad has 6 other children.
Do you remember that when you first went from your mother's parents' house to your father's mother's house, did anyone go with you?
My brother Rashad did. Because he was younger, the transition was a little easier for him because I don't think he really fully understood what was going on.
And do you remember how many foster homes you have been in?
Foster homes, I think I've been in like 3 or 4, maybe a little less, a little more.
And they weren't always relatives, right?
No. I lived in Charahoe, lived in where else? Bristol, Pawtucket for a little while.
The longest in Bristol, though, right? With Marie.
Yeah.
Do you remember living in Providence?
Was I in Providence? No, I don't remember. Well, with the Laster family. Yeah, I forgot all about that.
So, and you aged out of DCYF when you turned 18.
Yep.
And you went into the YES program.
I went into the YES program.
So then you had your own apartment.
Yep.
Did you ever feel like the times when you transitioned from foster home to foster home that you would have been better off going back to your biological family, or do you feel like there was no way you could have lived with them because of the circumstances?
In the beginning, I felt like I wanted to go home because that's all I really knew. And then, I don't know, I kind of just got sucked into the system, and it didn't bother me that I wasn't going home. At one point, the only family that came and could come visit me was my grandmother and my brother, so everybody else kind of became a blur to me.
When you lived at Marie's, because that was kind of the longest,
yep.
Did you feel like you belonged there? Did she make you feel like you were part of her family?
Yeah, especially due to the fact that there were 2 other kids who were my age. I got along with both of them very well. One of them, he moved to Virginia, and now the other one, Carlos, he's my best friend, he's my brother. Like, I love him, you know what I mean? He's family to me.
Do you remember what high school was like? Did you do well in high school?
My first year of high school was at NAFI Alternatives. That was my freshman year. I did well there. I'd spent some of my sophomore year at that program, and I'd moved to a group home in Warwick called Oakland Beach, and they had an in-house program. I did that for a couple of months. I think actually I did it for half my sophomore year, and I finished my sophomore year at Warwick Vets. That transition was kind of scary for me because I hadn't been to public school since 1st or 2nd grade, so it was difficult. No, not difficult. I don't really know how to put it, but it was
But you graduated.
Yeah, I did. I graduated from Mount Hope. I went there my junior year. I did very well. I played football for a little while, but that really wasn't my thing. And senior year, I did well.
And then you went on to get your
Yeah.
certificate for welding.
Yeah, I did that
Yeah.
for a month last year.
Yeah.
And now I'm currently trying to get into electric boats. I work for Life Incorporated with
What do you do there?
Life.
Mm-hmm.
I work with mentally and physically disabled adults. We care for them day to day, help them with their hygiene, feed them. Sorry.
Do you feel like any part of your experience or time in foster care has helped you to work in the field that you're working?
Yeah, I feel like
Related at all?
kinda, sorta. I mean, at my house in particular, they're nonverbal, so the communication with them is kinda hard. They have signs and things like that, but I don't think I would ever, because of my experiences in programs, I don't think I would ever want to work with behavioral children. I just think
It would be hard for
Yeah,
you.
it would be very hard for me.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember when you were in foster care and younger and your social worker made you go to counseling?
Yeah.
Do you remember some of the things that the therapist said you were diagnosed with?
I was diagnosed with depression, ADHD, ADD, PTSD, and I think that covers it.
And how do you feel like your life has been somewhat better, worse, the same being in foster care? Or do you think it would be better, worse, the same being at home?
I think it would be worse if I was at home. There were rules at home, but I don't think there were enough rules to make me be the person I am today. I'm glad that I went through the system. It was rough in the beginning when I didn't understand that people were trying to help me. I just thought everybody was against me, and as I grew older, I began to understand more that these people are here to help and turn me into a better person.
And so you're now looking to get a better job.
Yep.
And you have been able to successfully, on your own, maintain an apartment.
Yep.
Pay your bills. You've held this job for how long?
2 years.
2 years.
2 years. Is it the 17th? 2 years, the 17th,
Wow.
May 17th.
Wow.
Yep.
Good. So thank you for your time.
Thank you.